What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're taking a very special look at the first edition 2021 Volkswagen ID.4. So this is Volkswagen's first entry into the all-electric market. This is an all-electric SUV, brand new from top to bottom for 2021. It's built on the MEB platform, and it has a ton of really awesome features and some really nice accents here on the first edition that we're going to cover completely in this video. If you guys are interested in a more tech-centric review of the ID.4 and some of its cool features, definitely check the card above. I'll have a full tech review as well on my second channel, but we're going to be taking a look at the design of this. We're going to be taking a look at some of the cool features inside the ID.4. It's going to be awesome. Let's get right into it. So the ID.4 here, there's a couple different trims that you can get right now. There is the first edition, which is what we're looking at today. That is already sold out. So if you were lucky enough to get your hands on one, congratulations, because there are going to be very, very few of these. The other trim available is the Pro, and then you can kind of upgrade that a little bit to the Pro S. So those are the different trim levels that you're going to have available. The Pro and Pro S can actually be reserved right now. So if you go to Volkswagen's website, you can do that. There's no telling when you're going to get it, but you can definitely go and reserve it and kind of build your ID.4 there on their website. Now, with this being the exclusive first edition, there's a couple different things that you're going to notice. These first edition badges here, you're going to get big 20-inch alloy wheels. You're going to get the black painted roof, the silver roof rails, the silver accents kind of around the door there, illuminated light bar on the front grille. Now you can get this stuff on the Pro S, I'm pretty sure the Pro S trim, but these come with the first edition. There's also some exclusive badging inside and exclusive pedal caps as well, which we'll take a look at in just a bit. Now, something kind of interesting is that on some electric cars, you actually get a front trunk. You don't actually have that here on the ID.4. The motor that powers everything is still under the hood like a traditional gas engine would be, and you have a traditional normal SUV trunk in the back as well. A very spacious trunk, by the way. We'll take a look at that here in a bit. So you have a very like traditional look. It's not gonna be, it definitely has some kind of spacey elements to it, but it's nothing that's gonna push people away or be like, ugh, that's not familiar enough to me to be comfortable. I think they did a good job at kind of incorporating some of these more traditional elements, especially if you were to get this in a color that's maybe not so bold, like this blue color that we have here. If you were to get maybe a black or a silver or a white, it would look, you know, not that out there. And I think that's going to be really, really key in attracting traditional fuel, you know, consuming car folks into an all-electric vehicle like this. Now, this ID.4 is going to get you an EPA estimated 250 miles to a full charge. Now, obviously, that is going to drastically differ depending on your driving style. If you're more heavy-footed, you're not going to get 250. If you kind of fit right in that little thin line of economic driving, then maybe you'll get close to 250, but just be prepared that probably 230, 229, that range is probably going to be more where you're going to fall depending on, you know, road conditions and all kinds of other factors like that. Now, there's a lot of awesome accents on this thing that really kind of make it interesting. Obviously, like I said, you have this LED light bar that kind of runs across the front of the vehicle. You have this illuminated Volkswagen badge, which also looks really, really sleek and modern. I love the connectivity between all the different lighting elements. It makes it feel like one big cohesive thing. On these LED headlights up front, you have this really nice kind of diamond pattern on it that gives it a really nice accent that makes it stand out. You also have LED turn signals as well. You have LED brake lights in the back, and like I said, that LED bar that runs across the front of the vehicle. Not a whole lot going on the front end. It's pretty, not boring is not the right word, but it's pretty controlled, I think is the best word to use here. You just have this body colored piece here. You have these little accented pieces with some parking sensors kind of dotted around for all of your various IQ Drive safety systems. And then you have a little bit of a diamond pattern here up underneath as well, and a nice matte silver bar underneath to kind of tie all of those different silver accents together. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but you do have 20-inch alloy wheels, and these things are massive. It cracks me up just seeing these massive wheels on this relatively compact SUV. absolutely awesome. I love the look of them, very futuristic. Again, that first edition badging. These black side mirrors are heated. They are power folding with the position memory as well. They have integrated turn signals, as you can see right here. You've got blind spot monitoring as well, and they're just, you know, they're awesome. They look great. Silver trim again that runs around the door panels. Now these door handles, they are really neat. They have this kind of button underneath. They don't actually physically move at all, right? So there's a little button underneath. You just kind of squeeze it to unlock the door and you can get in. And then there is a little button here that you can go ahead and push, and that will lock your doors, fold your mirrors. We're used to seeing that. And interestingly enough, you actually have the Volkswagen word mark right here on the windows, which is kind of a nice little touch. You don't see that too often. Now, moving back here a little bit, you do have your charge port here. Now, I did write some notes on what you can expect charging time-wise, so I'm gonna go ahead and read those for you guys, just because it's a lot of numbers. There's a couple different ways to charge, right? So you can charge at home. That's the most practical way, according to Volkswagen. Your ID.4 will come with the level 1 charging cable. That's what all electric cars come with by default. But you can also install a level 2 wall charger. We've all seen these before. Chevy has one, Tesla has one, BMW has one. You can get them. They're just more powerful chargers that you can connect to your own home system to get more of a charge out of that quicker. Also, every ID.4 comes with 3 years of unlimited charging at Electrify America DC fast chargers at no additional cost. And you can find them, you know, all throughout major cities. You know, if you live in a smaller city, it's going to be definitely tougher to find one, but you can find these, and there's going to be more and more and more as these types of vehicles at this price point become more popular. Now, the ID.4 is capable of charging 60 miles in 10 minutes at DC fast charging stations, and 5 to 80% charge in about 38 minutes at those fast charging stations. Now, if you're charging at a level 1 charger at your house or a level 2 wall charger, I think it's the level 2 wall charger is going to be about 7.5 hours to a full charge, and you can kind of stretch that out for the level 1 charger that comes by default. But this is one of those types of situations where you have to determine whether you're the right person to own an electric car. And if you're the type of person like me, and that's why I can say this, that comes to work, goes straight home and is home for 10 to 12 hours at night and then goes back to work again, and you can pop this thing on the charger at home for 10 to 12 hours a night, you're never going to notice, you know, this thing needing to be charged. It's not the best for road trips, but it can be done. It's really just up to you to determine if that works for your situation. You can't actually open it or close it, but it is a full glass roof up top and it looks absolutely awesome. That is disgusting. I just stepped in a crap ton of mud. I'm gonna have to take my shoes off before I even get in this thing. So moving here to the back of the vehicle, you have that similar type of look with your taillights that kind of go across the back of the liftgate here with this diamond pattern again. Really nice accents all the way around. LED taillights here. Big Volkswagen badge again. Big ID.4 badging. It's so, I don't know, there's something about it. It's just like, it has this like very futuristic theme to it with just having this like ID, like no name, you know, like ID.4, like, I don't know, it's super cool to me. Some people may like it, some people may not. You've also got some lights down underneath, kind of this split tailgate. It's kind of bulbous, it's kind of chunky. Some people like the look, some people won't. And then you have these parking sensors dotted around, and you actually have a towing hitch down at the bottom as well, which is awesome. You do have decent towing capacity with the ID.4 here. Now, there's a button up underneath with your rear camera. It also has a sprayer on it, so you can clean your rear camera off. Easy open and easy close liftgate. Here in the back, again, I said you had a plethora of storage space back here, and it is true. You have quite a bit of storage space. Here are the dimensions with the rear seats up and then with the rear seats folded down. So you can definitely carry some cargo in this thing. It's really awesome. It's a lot more than you get on something like the Chevy Bolt, which is just a significantly smaller vehicle overall, but just having the ability to still have an all-electric vehicle like that, but be able to actually carry some cargo around, huge plus in my book. You've got some little hooks and things for, you know, cargo net, and you've got your tools and stuff up underneath. Just again, some nice storage space right there. And this button here is going to drop your tailgate back down, and you're ready to go. Let's hop inside, but first, I'm gonna take these muddy shoes off. All right, so here we are inside the beautiful and minimal cabin here inside the ID.4. Now, what's really gonna jump out to you, and this is a pro and a con in my opinion, is just this white steering wheel here. Now this, again, you're not gonna get this every time on every trim, but it definitely, I think, looks the most futuristic and fits the whole theme of the vehicle, but it's very stark because it is so much different than everything else in the cabin. So it's really like, here's where your eyes need to be in this circle right here, and everything else is just kind of, we just put it in there because we have to put other stuff in this vehicle. So it feels disconnected in a sense to me, but I also really like the look of this area right here. Now, as far as the long-term viability of keeping this kind of leather clean, I don't really know, but it looks really nice for now. So you have two different screens in here, again, with this beautiful white leather steering wheel and these touch capacitive buttons. We've talked about this in my other videos. I think we talked about this on the Arteon and the Cross Sport and the upcoming Tiguan and things like that. Really nice buttons here, but the two different screens we've got, 5.3-inch display right here that's gonna be basically like your digital dash in a sense, and then you've got this beautiful, massive 12-inch display here with a version of Volkswagen's infotainment that we have never seen before in any other models. Now let's start with this little screen right past the steering wheel. Now it's very simplistic, and I think that's a good thing and a bad thing. You know, there's not a whole lot of customization you can do, but it's also not overwhelming in any sense at all for someone that's never used an electric vehicle before. So you've got your car on there, you've got your miles left, you've got how many miles on your charge, you've got what doors are open, you've got what gear you're in, things like that. You also get all of your safety systems on there. So you get your IQ Drive systems, the whole suite, which we'll talk about here in just a bit, all on there, adaptive cruise control, everything right there, nice and easy and clean. You can switch through the different views, and basically your two options, as far as I can tell, are to have your speed in the center, large, or split the screen and have your adaptive safety systems and your speed kind of in a split screen view. Those are really the two that I see as possibilities. I'm not really seeing anything else. And maybe there's more stuff you can do in the menus, but from what I've seen so far in driving this for just a little bit, those are your different options, which is fine. Again, it's very clean. Now let's talk about the different gears you've got. You have this very interesting little controller here for your shift-by-wire system. Again, there's no column here or here, so it's just a nice twist. So if we go ahead and twist it down, you're gonna go in reverse, and you probably hear that sound in the background. We'll talk about that in just a sec. If you twist it halfway up, you're gonna go into neutral. Then if you twist it all the way up, you're gonna go into drive. Next to drive, there's also the brake mode. Now the brake mode is indicated with that little B, and that B is basically your one pedal driving. If you've ever driven an electric car before, you know what I'm talking about. But instead of taking your foot off the gas and then applying it onto the brake to slow down, if you've got it in brake mode, all you do is let off the gas and the car is gonna immediately start to slow down. It's just a really nice, easy way to drive in these things. And then to put it in park, you're just gonna push the P button on the side here, and it will go into park. So really simple system, might take a little bit of getting used to, but it's a very clean design. Everything else on the steering wheel is very traditional. You're probably used to it. You got your light controls and your blinker controls on the side. You've got your wiper controls on the other side, and you can use your sprayers and all that kind of stuff. Now, as far as the touch capacitive buttons, we've talked about these extensively in other videos, so I'm not gonna go into a great bit of detail. If you are interested in more of the technology here, definitely check the card above. I'm gonna be making a full tech review of everything in this system over on my tech channel, Matt's Tech, so definitely check that out. There's no actual physical movement, it's just a little haptic feedback to let you know you've actually pushed the button. So adaptive cruise control on the left and your media controls on the right. Now we talked about this being the first edition trim, so you're gonna get that first edition badging like you have on the outside right here on the steering wheel, which looks really awesome. You also get some nicely designed pedal caps, so the brake button has a pause symbol on it, and the gas, or acceleration would probably be the better way to say it, has a play button on it. So very self-explanatory. Play, you're gonna move forward, pause, you're gonna stop. Now, as far as your lighting controls, you have a little pad over on the side here instead of having a dial or something you move like a little adjuster back and forth. The mirror controls are an interesting little system here. It took me a second to get used to it, but basically you twist the little joystick left to the left or right to go to your left or right mirror, and then you use the joystick, you navigate it, up, down, left, right to kind of adjust your mirror accordingly. You can also spin it down to fold in the mirrors and push that, and they're gonna go ahead and do that. And then you can go down one more tick, or I guess right one more tick, and you will turn on your heated mirrors. You also have your window controls right here. And then again, just like the outside, these door handles don't actually move all the way out like you'd think. They're not mechanical, they're electronic. So you're just gonna pull a little bit and they're gonna go ahead and pop open. So an interesting little system there. Moving up top, you just have a standard auto dimming rear view mirror, no rear view mirror camera, anything like that. Unfortunately, you can use the buttons up here to kind of slide the sunshade forward here. You can just tap there or slide there and the sunshade will start moving forward up top and close up, which is super cool. The first edition has 12-way power seats in the front. Both driver and passenger are heated, position memory seats, and they have 4-way lumbar support and massaging in them, which is awesome. Just you get the whole suite of adjustability here on the front passenger seats. All right, so another really cool feature about the ID.4 is this center console area. It's highly functional and modular, which is absolutely awesome. So what I mean by highly functional is that you have a Qi-enabled wireless charging pad here, 2 USB-C ports here, right underneath that. And then all of these little pockets can be adapted based on what setup you want to use. So you have these 2 little dividers here that can be removed. If you don't need them, you get 1 large pocket. You can put 1 divider in to have a smaller pocket and a larger pocket. You can get both in to have 3 small pockets. And then up here on these kind of cool square-shaped cup holders, you can grab them, pull it out. It's now completely unlocked. You can take these dividers out, take the cup holders here, drop it down, snap it into place. So now your cup holders move from up here down into the lower center console area. Then you can take your little dividers, put them up here on the top center console area, and you've completely switched around your whole setup. Just whatever works best for you, they give you the option to do it, which I think is absolutely awesome. Complete customization on the center console area, just however you want to set it up. All right, so now let's talk about the main attraction, and that is this 12-inch Infotainment Center. So this has a version of Volkswagen's infotainment system that we have never seen before. I think we will see it a lot going forward on the new 2022 GTI, and I think maybe not this Tiguan because it was supposed to be updated, but the next Tiguan, I think we'll definitely see it. But it's this very kind of light-hearted, futuristic kind of looking infotainment system. So it's not anything we haven't seen before as far as functionality. It's just the look more so that really sets it apart. So you've got your phone, you've got your Bluetooth and radio options, you've got your built-in navigation, you've got your vehicle menu, you've got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you've got your sound settings, you've got your ambient light settings, and then your help and climate control and assist systems and settings and things like that. So you can swipe between different setups. So you can have just your traditional like home screen setup, which would just have all your icons there or whatever. You can also see if we go into reverse here, that you get your safety systems with your parking sensors in the front and back. You kind of an adaptive system depending on which way you're turning the wheel, and you get your standard rear view camera that you can adjust with a couple different options here, different views and whatnot. Now, no surround view camera system or anything like that, unfortunately, here. And you probably hear that sound. Again, I mentioned it earlier, but it makes this like super spacey, like galaxy sound, kind of this like ethereal humming noise, I think is the best way to put it. And it just lets people know, it's super loud outside, but it lets people know that you're coming. And that will stay like that up until I think 18 miles per hour. So you're not gonna be able to like roll up on people and hit people without them knowing, you know what I mean? That's always been a fear with electric cars. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get hit because I can't hear it. You'll hear this thing, it is loud. Now again, we'll take a more in-depth look at this system in my tech video, definitely check the card above. But some of the highlights here, again, you do have that built-in navigation. You do have wireless Apple CarPlay, which looks just beautiful on this massive 12-inch screen. You've got your ambient light that you can adjust with all these different presets. So kind of a more blue-green, and they have little catchy names: Infinity, Eternity, Desire, Euphoria, Vitality. You can adjust all of that right in there. We've seen you know, ambient lighting before, so it's not necessarily new by any means, but it is really cool that you can adjust the brightness and pick all these different presets. It's futuristic for sure. Oh, and it even changes the background screen, so that's really cool. You've also got what I think is super cool, which is the ID light. So the ID light is basically a little LED bar that runs across the top of the dash here, and it's gonna give you indications of things that are happening in your vehicle. So whether that's a brake warning or an incoming phone call, or your charging status, all that kind of stuff is gonna be up on that light bar. So you can kind of keep your eyes focused and see kind of what's going on from that light indicating to you what's happening. And then finally, you can see your assist system. So you can go through and click all of these different little pictures here, and it will tell you all of your different assist systems, what they do, and you can adjust the parameters of them right inside this menu. You can also control all your climate control settings and things inside of this touch screen, but you also have physical controls down underneath. Now these are those little touch capacitive sliding bars. Like we mentioned, you can also do it for volume.
The 9th Street.
Just slide it up and down, and then again, slide up and down for temperature right there. Now, in addition to those sliding bars, you have these little buttons up underneath that are again, kind of a touch capacitive button here that you don't actually physically push, you just kind of touch it and you get some feedback. You actually have a push to start button right here on the side of the steering column here, but you don't have to use that. So if I were to get out of the car and then get back in with the key fob in my pocket and put my seatbelt on, the car automatically wakes up and turns on. And then if I were to have my car in park, take my seatbelt off and get out, the car will actually shut itself down. So it like knows, you don't have to like, man, I gotta on and off. Not that it's difficult, but it's just one extra little step of making everything as seamless as possible. I think they did a really good job with that. A couple other really cool features. This steering wheel that I mentioned earlier is a heated steering wheel, which is super nice to have. These are VTEC leatherette seating surfaces. They have really cool ID perforated badging right here on the seats themselves. In the back, you've got 2 USB-C charging ports. So again, I mentioned these ID.4 first editions are sold out. They are so rare. So it's really cool that we actually got one here on the lot to take a look at. This is a demo model that I think we're purchasing it to have at the dealership, but it's just awesome to actually get to sit in this thing and to be one of the first people to sit in one of these in the general public. I think it's absolutely awesome. Now, this one is gonna sticker for about $43,000, a little over before your tax, license, and fees. So it is by no means cheap. But again, this is basically maxed out and the best that you can get on this specific model. And again, it's an SUV, so you're dealing with size here. You're paying for the size of this thing and obviously the amenities. As you can see, it's fully decked out. Now, a ton of people comment on my videos and say, what kind of review is this if you don't drive the car? And my answer is always the same. Driving a car in a review without you present is so subjective and is so based on your previous experiences in different types of vehicles. Me telling you it drives like this, that's what it drives like to me. What if it drives completely different to you and you think it's really fast or you think it's really slow? It's just all subjective, and so I think it's almost to the level of silly to even do it. So we're not gonna do it in this video, but I have driven it, and so I'll talk about that driving experience just so you guys know kind of what it's like. Now, if you have any experience with other electric vehicles, I have experience with 2 other ones, the BMW i3 and the Chevy Bolt. Those are the 2 that I've driven before. I've never driven a Tesla, so I don't know. But my experience with the ID.4 is that it is not the quickest to go. It kind of feels like it takes a little bit more time to kind of really get going. But once you're actually moving and you're kind of in the groove of it, it feels very responsive and very quick. Changing lanes is nice. Accelerating is fine. I will say that it is less responsive and less zippy than the Chevy Bolt. It is significantly less zippy, in my opinion, than the BMW i3. So again, this has much more space than that. This has a design that I like more than the i3 or the Chevy Bolt. And it's got comparable mileage to both those things as far as on a full charge goes, but as far as just responsiveness, it's not quite there right off the line. The last thing I wanted to kind of talk about was the IQ Drive, and that is Volkswagen's suite of safety systems that they're putting on these the ID.4 here and the ID.3 over in the UK. But I wanted you guys to have a full list of them here. So you have lane assist, self-explanatory, front assist, self-explanatory, adaptive cruise control, You guys know what that is. Active side assist, blind spot monitoring, rear traffic alert and emergency assist. And then you also have travel assist, which is a really cool feature. This is available travel assist. It's a hands-on semi-autonomous driving assistant that can support you with steering, acceleration, braking within your lane while you keep your hands on the steering wheel. Using the cameras and sensors, it keeps you centered in the lane and maintains your preset distance from the vehicle ahead of you, but can also work without a vehicle in front of you. So it's semi-autonomous driving. You know, it's not anywhere near full autonomous driving, but as long as you got your hands on the wheel, it'll control for the most part. All right, guys, and that is the 2021 Volkswagen ID.4. Drop a like on the video if you loved it. Tell me in the comments down below, what do you think about the design of this thing? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let's have a conversation down in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be one of the first to see every single new video the second I hit publish. We'll see you in the next one.